think it's time to bring back some photography content. I've been doing a lot of writing videos and just a couple other like random little things here and there, but I really want this channel to be focused on mostly photography and just creative process in general and writing. So I'm just gonna throw a photography video in. Why not? So with winter being here, it's January, it's 20 degrees outside, there's 6 inches of snow. It's a lot harder for me to motivate myself to actually get out there and go shooting and really just like even find other people that are number one, not busy, or number one twice, number two, have the motivation to go outside as well. And it's just really hard to get really good photos when you're freezing your butt off and you can't feel your fingers and your nose is running, and it's a mess. It's not fun. You don't want to shoot out in 20 degrees. It's just, no one wants to do that. So I'm going to give you some tips and tricks on how to keep yourself motivated and inspired in this terrible death season that is winter, and also how to find models that are willing to go out there and shoot with you even though it's 20 degrees. So I went on a shoot for the first time in probably a month day before yesterday, and it was so liberating, honestly. Like, I forgot just how important it is to just like go out there and shoot. And I had a model, we didn't really want to shoot outside, so here's the solution: find an indoor location. And you're probably thinking, how the heck do I do that? I'm going to give you some tips because I was wondering the same thing. Pinterest is going to be your best friend, honestly. Just search on Pinterest indoor poses or indoor location model poses, and you'll find a few different locations that you may be able to find similar places around you. Just kind of think of places that would be quiet, that would have decent lighting. Maybe if you can find places that have nice window lighting and seating and stuff that you can go to a coffee shop and do a photo shoot. You can go to an art museum and do a photo shoot, which is what I did. You could even go to a library, do a photo shoot, or even Goodwill, or just think outside of the box of locations that you may not think might be super picturesque, but you go there and you can definitely find a lot of locations without even really having to try that hard. So it's pretty awesome. So here we have my photography inspiration board on Pinterest. This is where I gather all of my ideas for all of my shoots, and I normally pick like 2 or 3 concepts for the actual photo shoot. For this particular photo shoot, my concept was to do something indoors, obviously, have very minimalistic, like similar tones and colors, and also play around with double exposure and hands a lot. So this is like the first like key photo that I saw that I was really inspired by and really wanted to work on that. But then I also was really digging this whole like tan, very like all the same colors, just nothing really going on that much. And then as you can see here, like the black and white double exposure of the hands was a huge key component to the inspiration of this shoot. Here I'm going to show you a few inspirations of maybe if you wanted to do a photo shoot in a library. These aren't great examples, but you can definitely still find a few little examples in here of something that you could do. This photo that I'm about to show you right here, I really enjoy because kind of all the tones are the same, and her sweater's kind of matching the books that are around, and everything is just very like purposeful looking, and I really like that. And so then as I was looking at some like different art museum photography inspiration, this one really caught my eye because I really like that she's mimicking the pose of the statue, and you could do a lot of like cool things with that, with pictures, statues, all that type of stuff. And she's also wearing neutral colors, so I recommend doing that. This I would not recommend doing. That's just weird and disrespectful, and I don't understand. I don't get it. But I would recommend having your model dressed in very neutral colors because I feel like you can do a lot more with the art if you're doing it in an art museum or anywhere really. I feel like that's just like a safe bet. I really like the texture of this, and all the colors are the same. Same here, very like minimalistic. I'm just really digging that style. So another like shoot location you could do is a coffee shop. Like obviously it's very basic, but I feel like you can get really creative with it. Reflections of the window, different tones, especially if the coffee shop you're at is really cool. This one I find really, really cool because it's kind of a mix of a library and a coffee shop, and the lights are nice and the tones are nice, and it's just all around a good time. And you can warm up with a coffee after being outside, and you can get cool latte photos and be basic, and it's a good time. It's a good time all around. Recommend. So once you've kind of picked out your location, you need a model, and having a model is a big deal. Obviously, I don't know, what am I saying? I don't know. Finding a model is a pretty easy thing to do. You just have to use the power of social media. Like, use Instagram, use Facebook. It will be a lifesaver. I have met most of my photographer friends and models on Instagram, and I'm gonna give you a few tips on how to do that the easiest and safest way. So back when I first started photography, I followed a lot of local photographers in my area on Instagram, and we'd kind of go back and forth of liking each other's photos. Make sure you're commenting a lot and like putting yourself out there so that they notice you and see you, and then maybe they'll start following you, and then you can maybe do meetups and then meet a bunch of people, and then that way you're able to meet more photographers in the area that have more connections to other models that you can meet. You may be able to look at their page and see a model or someone that they've shot with that you're like, man, that's really cool. That person looks awesome. I'd love to shoot with them. Go follow them on Instagram, like a few of their photos, comment, be nice and social for the next couple of days, and then maybe shoot them a message and be like, hey, I'm a photographer and blah, 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 and I'd love to do a shoot with you if you're interested. And a lot of times they'll say yes. Most of the time they'll say yes, unless they're just really weird. But most of the time they're gonna say yes, and that's mostly how I find my models. But I've been connected into the photography world, like in the Hampton Roads area, for a really long time at this point, that I'm kind of well connected with a lot of them and have already built up a trust system, and kind of, you know, I've done a lot of meetups where I've met a lot of the models and stuff, and none of them are really like actual professional models. Like, you can even just use a friend, like call up a friend and be like, hey, are you bored? I'm bored too. Let's go on a shoot. It's not that hard to find a model. That's the easiest way to do it. You can also find them through Facebook, mutual friends. That's a little creepier, I feel like. I think Instagram is like the easiest way to do it, because I think a lot of people are doing that right now. I've heard people even use Tinder to do that. That's just weird. I don't know how I feel about that, but you could try that too. I don't know. So now you've got a location, you've got a model, you've picked a date, you're so excited to go shooting. Here's a tip on how to keep yourself more like motivated and creative. I put a restraint on myself this time. Normally I will like almost only ever shoot with my 50mm lens, because I do mostly portraits, and I just like that it has a lower aperture so we can get that really blurry background and get a really sharp focused photo. But I've been seeing a lot of photographers lately using the 24-70 lens, and I've been really liking the way that kind of that really wide angle is looking, and like a lot of, I don't know what I'm trying to say. You've probably seen it. I'll show you some example photos right here. But just kind of like that really wide shot, especially like the lower angle, give that really like powerful pose. I've been really wanting to like try and like play around with that a little bit more. I've noticed that Ben Sasso has done a lot of that, and I love Ben Sasso's work, and also a lot of like really neutral, like minimalistic colors and stuff like that. Luckily my model like was literally thinking the same as I, and wore an all tan dress, and was basically like wearing tan shoes as well. So it was all kind of like the same color of her hair and skin and everything. It was all one color. And it worked really well with a lot of the art pieces in the museum that we shot in, so it ended up like turning out absolutely perfect. This time, for this particular shoot that I will show you some photos from, I used my Canon 60, which is my main camera as of now. It's a full frame camera that I got from Best Buy for literally $500, because they were selling them all out, and this was already opened. At one point it was like a display model, so I got it for super cheap, and it was just like, it was the greatest deal ever. Anyway, and I used my 24-105. I don't have the 24-70, unfortunately, which is kind of why I haven't really been using this for shoots. I use it mostly for landscape photography and stuff, but I did want to just like push myself and just have one lens and just try it out and like try and see what I can come up with. Bring one lens that you never really use, force yourself to figure out how to use it properly and use it for your advantage, and I think that it will really benefit you in the end. And this really benefited me. I'm very glad I brought it. I want to bring it more for more shoots, because I'm just very happy with the way that the photos turned out, and I'm just like, I'm stoked. I'm so excited. So I hope that all of those tips were helpful and gets you out shooting and try new things and just stay motivated and have a great winter. Give this video a thumbs up if you enjoyed it. Here are the photos from the shoot. I hope you have a blessed day, and I'll see you soon. What? Goodbye. Belated, I don't know what I was trying to say, honestly. I have no idea.